Hello and welcome to episode 6. Now it's been a while since the last one and a lot's happened, but we'll try and keep it brief as usual because we have to keep everything short. Especially because, well, there's other big tournaments coming up and there's been a lot of system opens to talk about. And I'm leaving most of the talking to the usual lot, the Warlords, the Civ Takers. You go and check them out, they'll cover most of the tournaments in much greater detail. As per usual, I'll cover my system open and what's next. So, yeah, it's been a few weeks now since it's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks since your system open. And I took Rebel Beef, 2 B-Wings, Cassian, and... The Cassian's the U-Wing. That's a good start, isn't it? I took Braylon and 10 for the B-Wings, and Wedge in the X-Wing. Very little upgrades. Leia and Tactical Officer on the U-Wing, jamming beams, and exclusive on 10. Oh, and S4s on Wedge, obviously. I had 10 games of practice with this beforehand, when 8-2, 2 days at the Weekend Warlords. I almost changed my list the morning of, but I decided against it and stuck with it. So, yes, as most of you know, I did alright. But, so, let's just go through who I played and just a bit more information on some matches. So, round 1, I played Kylo, Midnight, and the big shuttle thing. I was really worried about this because they were all moving after me. Except, okay, Wedge not, but the rest of my formation. But it was a strange one. I tried to swing after Kylo and the shuttle, picking some shields off the shuttle here and there. But then Midnight went into a position where he could take a couple of shots, so I slapped him around a little bit, or her. And then next turn, Midnight went down, because he could only target on one ship. Then I sort of swung my attention to the shuttle, because he was going into a corner, and I realised I could hit all 4 of my guns pointing in the same direction. He turned into the corner, all 4 of my guns pointing at him, and removed him. I think he only had a shield left at that point anyway, so that's 7 hull to do. And the rest of the game was just catching Kylo and knocking out Kylo. Well, that's how I remember it anyway. So he did get 77 points, 277. So the guy himself was a really great guy. A brother normally plays him every single year at the system open, so it was quite entertaining for me to finally play him. And he gives out run bars. And yes, I had my run bar, and it's very nice, and it's quite strong. But no, it's nice. The round 2, I played a bit of a different game. Death Rain, Jonas, Reimer, and another bomber. All with missiles, torps, you name it, they've got it. So I was quite worried about this game, and it started off about as well as I could. Well, it was about as bad as I wanted to. Wedge come in, did 0 damage, got removed from the board. Great. The U-Wing took a pounding next. I'm pounding some of his ships at the same time, but the U-Wing runs off in 1 or 2 hull and leaves the B-Wings to do the rest. So the B-Wings do basically do the rest. They start knife fighting him and he can't get away, and arc dodging with Leia still on the board, doing the white cannon rolls and barrel rolling. Because I was able to give him initiative, so my bombers had, my B-Wings were like mini aces in this one. Now he did get some more points. I think he got the U-Wing in the end as well, and he finished 176 to me to 150 to him. So it was very, very close. Round 3, I played Piers Horney. Apparently, he's one of the guys I've actually written the name down from. I forgot most of the day. This was a little bit brutal. How to sum this up? His green dice were terrible. So there's a turn where I bumped his Vader, which doesn't matter, he's got force. And Duchess is also in the fight. So Wedge shoots Duchess, I think, first. Takes 2 hull off, nothing special. At this point, Vader has already lost shields. He's got 3 hull left because the U-Wing did a bit of a thing on him the turn before. And he's got 1 shot coming at him. And the B-Wing rolls 3 dice for 3 hits. And Vader rolls 3 blanks. So Vader's like, I got force. I can't even use that. So Vader's removed from the board. Very unlucky. And then the other B-Wing goes ahead and knocks the other 2 damage off Duchess. So I take the 2 ships out in a single turn. It means I have 4 ships chasing Sontir. Now, he gets 51 points. And I can't remember my squad list. I don't know if that's half points on 2 or a ship gone. But it's a great guy, to be fair. It was a good game. Round 4. So I'm up against the dreaded Quad Phantoms. And without saying much, I got absolutely hammered. I lost 248. There was an entertaining part in this game where I kept trying to K-turn or Talon roll Wedge every single time he was able to block me. So he just outflew me. Just really good guy. Round 5. So Effie's a knockout for me now if I want to make the cut. 3-1, have to go 5-1 to make the cut. So, round 5, I'm up against the dreaded 5 Y-Wings, and I went, damn it. This is Graham of the Zombie Squadron, who's a very nice guy. I think he had enough of the day, to be fair, and it got to a stage of where the earlier engagements meant I could take some shields off at range 3 from side arcs, so he weren't getting shots back. And when it come into the mosh pit, should we say, I started removing a ship a turn quicker than he could deal damage to me. So I did win it 275. I don't know how, but I did. Just sheer weight of dice on my ships taking off before they could shoot. And as soon as there's 1 or 2 Y wings left, it was I can arc them with B wings. Round 6, Bobber and 2 Scourges. Now I was quite nervous about this matchup. Scourge is obviously double tapping. There's a lot here that causes some problems, but I don't know if it was tiredness from him or what, but he just ended up coming at me quite quick with all his list, and then I was able to knock a Scourge off quite quickly, which I know he wants to joust, but he probably didn't want to send it all into the middle of my guns. Took a Scourge off quite quickly. The other Scourge went down. Well, took some damage. Bobbers took some damage. Bobber tries to disengage. I just send, I think it was Wedge chasing after him or something to kill him off. And it was 299. It was a good game though. The guy was a great guy. I enjoyed playing him. So 5-1. Woo! I finished 34th. So it was 62 players went through. I think 62 players went into the knockout, and the Julian and I can't remember who the other person was, didn't have to play their first round, which to me I hate that. I had that at Europeans last year where I didn't have to play my first round because my MOV was high enough, and I went into the top. I think it might be a 64-32 game, whichever it was last year, and the opponent was much sharper than me. I felt like having the extra game in the morning, even though you got to win it, sharpens you up a bit. But we'll see how that goes. So I know if I win my top 64, I know I am playing Julian at top 82, and I'm quite nervous about that game. Double Jedi and 2 Torrents, he can run circles around me. But top 64, I'm playing as Darren Chapman. Now, it's a name I knew when I saw the brackets go up the night before or the morning of, and I didn't know it was flying though. So it was a mirror. It was almost a mirror match. So he has Biggs. He has Biggs instead of Wedge. Braylon, 10 and Cassian. Now he's got heavy laser cannons in there and things like that to make up the points on Wedge. This is a very, very tight game, a lot of back and forth. I try and move Wedge and split. My damage is split all over the place because he's running obviously the damage migration one. Well, I'm not running any selfishness or nothing. And it comes down quite close to the wire. I think he has one of his B wings on half points, 3 hull left, and Cassian needs a couple of damage for half points. And I need to get half points at Cassian. And I end up killing Cassian. Actually, do I need to? I don't know if I did need half points at Cassian, to be fair. Looking at the scores I've got in front of me. But no, I end up killing Cassian on the last turn of the game. So I got the half points anyway, if I needed it. But I think I may have needed it more if Cassian survived and was able to kill whatever ship was shooting at him. Because I think he had 1 or 2 hull left. And I think that's why I needed to do the damage. So I won it, very just. 173, 127. It was made more relaxed this game because I went into goal to a top 64. God, I really want some R2D2 charge tokens. And so were my opponents, obviously. So I made an agreement with Darren before the game that we split tokens. The winner takes 5, loser takes 3. I was going to do whoever I played and ask them the question. Well, I heard a couple of other people asking the question as well. A few people were... My chair's moving. A few people were doing the same thing because you hit the top 64 and there's no prizes. So you have to win that first game. So we've got some R2D2 charge tokens. Woo! And then top 32, Julian. I won't speak much about this game because it was dicey. It turned out to be... So Torrents are dead, most of my list's dead. I've got Cassian first half pointed Anakin. He's run out of regen. Cassian is got 1 shield left, so he needs 2 damage for half points, I think it was. And for 4 turns straight, Anakin could not put any damage on him. Come to the last turn of the game, still had that shield left. Anakin's been chasing. I got a block in 1 turn, but that was it. And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, Cassian should probably be dead, not knowing half points by now. But it was a mix of his red dice really letting him down. We had target locks. He's like, so last turn, 1 hit out of 3. Target lock the other 2 more blanks. When you got force as well, not even rolling eyes, it's just not good. So I won thanks to Cassian surviving when he was shooting off. So that was Cassian. Top 16, I played the TIE Swarm, the legendary Rick Miles. It was a great game, coming right down to the wire. I haven't got any scores for these ones actually. Yeah, come very much down to the wire. Top 8, I played, I think it was Alan. Sorry if I'm playing it wrong. I think he's from the Harlequin team. He's running Boba Fett and L3. That's great to see some scum up here, because I'm looking around thinking it's rebels, 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 phantoms, phantoms, rebels. And and I think at this point we had 5 A-Wings in there as well, and they were playing Kev Bellamy. But Boba Fett at L3, and I was right about this because Fenn caused problems, but I don't know, he jousted me with Boba at L3, which you expect, and Fenn coming from the side. I was able to hammer Boba quite early, and I know he's getting coordinated, but I dropped L3 very quickly in 2 shots. Got one in range 1 to finish him off, and then just hammered Boba. Boba then tried to disengage with hardly anything left, which let me put a couple of hits into Fenn. So then at that point, I've probably lost. I think I've lost Cassian and the B-Wing, and I sent Wedge just to finish off Boba, and I Cassian's still alive. And I used Cassian and the B-Wing just to harass and block up Fenn to stop him getting mods and do as much damage as he could. As soon as the Boba's gone, Wedge comes back in, and I have lost the shove down to 2 ships now. And Wedge keeps Fenn at range 3 and 2, using the other ship as the blocker, getting in the way, and takes off the board. It's a good game. It was a great laugh actually, that game. A very relaxed game. Top 4, I was playing 4 K-Wings. I think the earlier turns when I think Wedge rolled 3 hits and a crit out of hand and got direct hit straight through on the first engagement. It was a game like that where my dice got really, really lucky, and I don't think I took as much damage back as I should have from his shots. But that happens. And the B-Wings, I think it was the B-Wings left at the end. And then the final, I had Jack Mooney with his Han and Jake. Now, I'm sure it's all streamed, and you can see me get absolutely murdered and ripped apart by Jack. It's a great game though, and Jack knows how to fly Han and Jake. As much as the internet's going mad about Handbrake Han at the second, or whatever you want to call it, people have been trying it. And you look at the system opens, I think one got to the semi-final of Hanover, but except from that, a lot of them are not making the cut, and a lot of them are ending up on lower tables. If you make a mistake with that list, and if he made a single mistake with that list, and my formation was able to rip into Han for 1 or 2 turns, it's a different game. A couple of crits in there, changes everything, you just rip some shreds. So that's system open. So made the final. It was 565 players, so there's only a few of us around, which is good. It was a great weekend actually, catching up with people we don't see very often. I had to catch up with some of the Scottish guys, some of the guys from all over Europe really, because people fly in from it. That was a great weekend. So I haven't played much X-Wing since. I've played a couple of practice games. I played Julian's List a couple of times. I've played the Resistant 5s, the 2 A-Wings and 2 X-Wings. Trying to find the list to settle on. So tomorrow, obviously it's May the 4th today, so May the 4th be with you. And tomorrow's Revenge of the 5th, which is the UKTC, United Kingdom Team Championship. Now I have a team, it's Fishy's Angels, and I'm with Johnny Cannon and Kylo. I think they're settled on this now. Kylo's running Republic, or is he? And Johnny is running Rebels, which means I've lost my Rebels, which is this event, which is fine. So I'm in between lists. I've been playing Resistance. I'm looking at Scum. I'm looking at all sorts. So we have less than 24 hours before, about 24 hours before this tournament starts. As I'm recording this, I haven't got a clue what I'm flying, so I might have to sit and watch some YouTube videos in a minute and see what's around, see what I can nick. I'm really tempted to bring Gooey back though. We'll see. But yeah, that's that. So UKTC tomorrow. I'm hoping to do a recording of that. I believe it's streamed by Cloud City Radio, so go and check them out. We know Lee and Ian, they know what they're on about, and they have a podcast as well. Make sure you're checking out all the streams and podcasts out there, because there's a lot now, and they're all good. Sith Takers are great. We've got the Weekend Warlords on Mondays and Tuesdays. A bit of a war going on. I don't know. I quite like both actually. I'm not gonna get into the politics of that one. You've got the US ones. You've got the Gold Squadron. You've got Minox. You've got just a wealth of information that all these podcasts put out, and it just helps stay at the top of helps you stay at the top of the game when you know what other countries are doing as well. Because there might be lists doing well in the US. I know it might not be at the second, but you're thinking maybe that'll do all right in the UK. Where the UK hasn't picked up that list yet, and vice versa. Normally they will talk about lists, tournaments, the system opens, and there's been a lot of system opens lately. We had Hanover and Denver last weekend, both won by Imperials, but none of them won by Quad Phantoms. So I think one of them had a Whisper in, but the other one didn't have a Phantom. It was won by Vinda, which is hashtag nerf Vinda. No joke. That caused a storm. But anyway, yes. So UKTC tomorrow, and I'm hoping to do another recording after that. And except from that, that's it. And thank you for listening if you've even got this far. Thank you.